the last day of Fight Fest, and I wanted to make a video just doing my final thoughts because we finally reached the end as well. We actually finished the complete waves and such, which was very lucky. We have like 9 hours left. I think we finished like maybe like an hour, 2 hours ago, and I realized it. And I'm like, wait, we actually finished wave 4. So if you want to redeem that mount, hey, now you can do that. I'm probably going to exchange it on my other characters, but not on my Storm, just because I'm probably just going to redeem every single piece of gear just to have it. That's just what I like to do. But hey, at least we're done with Fight Fest, and the month's basically over. This is obviously the last day of August, and we move on to September. So Fight Fest won't be coming back for probably a whole new year. And I know people keep asking the question over and over, are these coins going to be like, you know, usable next year? I don't think so, just because the fact is it says 2025 on it, and we'll probably get like a 2026 variation. Same thing with the shirt. I don't think we'll get like a 2025 shirt next year. So if I already at least collect the, like, if we're just trying to be a collector, I guess, get the mount, get the hat, and get the robe. The stat gear isn't that great at all, and I kind of already made a YouTube short talking about what you should redeem at the end of the day. If we're being completely honest, it is your coins. Buy whatever you want. I know some people buy the reagents, some people bought the TCs. I'm just not the person to do either of those things. Same thing with the jewels. I don't care about the jewels because I can just craft these, and sometimes I just get them while farming random things. But let's go into team up for Fight Fest. I will not be getting any points. I'm not contributing to any of the community progress anymore because it's already full. But let's go into Fight Fest, and let's just talk about the event for like the whole video, I guess. Got to make sure I have the right gear. And the last day, they ended up having Polaris as the last day. Very interesting to see, but hey, we'll talk a little bit more about that once we jump into a Fight Fest run, which honestly that was pretty quick. It was just I literally clicked in and insta team into a Fight Fest. So hey, but Fight Fest as a whole, was it a good event? Now I'll be honest, on paper 100% it is a good event, and I'm not gonna say no to that. I'm not gonna lie about that. On paper it is a good event, right? You know, you get the rewards and such, and there's some cool things to redeem. The gear, not so much in my opinion. Like, I know some people are redeeming the gear like on low levels because the fact is they do low level PvP, and that's its own separate topic. But for like max level, the gear is not that great, and honestly that's how it should be. Because imagine if the gear was really good, like really good. You need this gear. Now imagine you didn't play during August, you're kind of screwed. So honestly, the way that they did the gear, I think that's fine. At least they didn't put any OP item cards on it. They didn't put any OP stats on it or anything like that. It's completely fine how it is. And I know some people might be like, well, then we'll support the event. There's other stuff to redeem, of course, so I wouldn't trip out about it so much. If you guys have made it this far into the video, just wanted to remind you guys that 75% of you guys that watch me on a daily basis are not subscribed. So do me a huge favor and subscribe. We're on that grind to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Alright, now let's get back into the rest of the video. Of course, like I said earlier on in this video, people are redeeming reagents and treasure guards and stuff like that, and like the jewels. Nah, for me, it's really just not for me, because I can just get the reagents by doing other stuff. I can get the jewels by literally doing other stuff. The treasure cards, I don't really need. I guess some people are redeeming the Azoth because they're like, hey, this is an easy way of getting Azoth. I mean, if it is for you, by all means do it. But for me, I don't really care too much about the Azoth stuff. And there's scout talents for a reason. There's other ways to farm Azoth in the game. You don't have to do Fight Fest to specifically grind out your Azoth. I mean, hey, if you want to do that, by all means go for it. But it's something I'm going to be doing now. Side note, I've seen a lot of people complain about the epic jewel like recently. It's really not that hard to, and this is kind of like a segue into something else. But yeah, farming the epic jewel is not bad, guys. I feel like I get this comment way too much. I already made a YouTube short talking about how to farm the epic jewel. It's really not hard to get. I literally was questing the other day on my my death, my level lock death, and literally I got one while questing. So hey, maybe streamer luck, maybe content creator luck, who knows? But like, I feel like I've been getting them pretty easy to a certain extent. Of course, I'm not saying I'm getting it every run, but like, hey. But back to the Fight Fest stuff. Now with the Fight Fest stuff, there was some things I didn't like. For example, the concept was good, yes, but I don't think they should have put it at such a high bar with the waves, because the fact is we barely finished wave 4, which is the last wave, and we finished it on the last day of the event. Like, people need to realize that we're supposed to be finishing each wave like by the end of a week, and like slowly but surely we've like chunked out a lot on the event towards the end of the event, of course. Because like you gotta also memorize, you know, KI was pushing the event very hard. A lot of marketing went behind it. You know, they were pushing it in the Discord, pushing it on their streams, and pushing it in the Discord just in general, like in chats and stuff. And I think they've also made like tweets about it too. So there's a lot of marketing behind this, so that they were really pushing out this event. And to be fair, they realized some mistakes with this event, and hopefully we get some huge improvements for next year whenever they do bring back this event, of course. But I think they really need to lower the amount that's needed per wave, because obviously we don't know how much is on this bar, and I don't think we'll ever know unless they tell us the numbers behind it of how much does one contribute to this big bar. Like, how much is it to fill up this entire bar, you know? And depending on that will kind of fluctuate my answer. Like, if it's really genuinely a lot of team ups that you have to do, then maybe they should lower it. They should definitely lower it. And honestly, just me seeing how the bar has been going this past couple weeks and such with the whole month of August, definitely need to lower that bar 100%. And I know they've been like, I've seen some people say, oh yeah, a lot of people definitely are doing FightFest. You also got to keep in mind, people are doing this on other characters. They're not just doing it only on one character, because I've been switching between all my characters basically for the event. And there's days where I just don't do the event because I really do not want to do the event, because it's a it's a certain world that I just really don't want to do. So that world might be like Azteca or like Chrysalis, and I purposely do not do those worlds. I think Imperial was on here at one point too. I don't remember, it's been such a blur. But regardless, the annoying worlds, I just don't do the event majority of the time. And if it's like Wizard City, Krakatopia, Marley, but like the low level worlds in Arc 1, by all means, I will queue that real quick and do it on all my characters. And I've seen way more people queue when it comes to that type of stuff. So I think they should be like doing it like more and more like towards the low level players. And because, like, yes, you're helping out the high level players, it's a team up event, trying to help out every featured world and such. But I think they should have, either have multiple team ups for different worlds, like instead of having just one featured world, maybe have another one, right? Or maybe have one per arc. That's another thing that they can do. So like each arc has a featured world for that day, and then they just switch it every day, of course. That's something they can do as well. So just cater towards all players. Because for example, if the featured world, like for example, is today's Polaris, if I'm not in Polaris, I can't do the kiosk version of the points. So I'm kind of like locked out on when it comes to that. Another thing is, if you're level locked, which I am on 2 of my characters, I cannot do the kiosk stuff. Every time you interact with the kiosk, it says you are level locked, you cannot team up. So I literally was losing points due to the fact of me being level locked. So it puts me at a disadvantage when it comes to the event. And I know the simple answer is, hey, why don't you just unlevel lock? Well, if I'm doing videos, or maybe someone else is doing like some kind of challenge series or something like that, maybe they're just saving their level lock for some sort of reason, kind of puts it at a disadvantage because of that. And me personally, I'm not going to unlevel lock those characters because I'm saving them for videos down the line. So it kind of sucks that, hey, like I'm losing points due to that. Another thing is, I wonder how many people are actually contributing towards the bar with like their entire account. I wish that they would maybe save that for like a KI Live in the future or something like that, talking about, or maybe I don't know if they have the numbers of like how many people were doing FightFest on one account. Because definitely people were switching between all their characters, and that doesn't even include all the people that were dual boxing, tri boxing, quad boxing. Because when I do this event, I tend to bring another character. I tend to bring 1 to 2 extra characters, or 2 separate accounts, I mean, to join my FightFest team ups. Because there's been team ups where I've had people just troll and just beguile spam, or they'll just stun spam, or they'll purposely choose spells or like long animations. And honestly, I don't want to sit there. I really don't. So I have to bring another character, and sometimes people see my character in team up and they stall on purpose, literally on purpose. So it kind of sucks. Maybe it's just an Almond issue, it's a skill issue, right? Sure. But like there's like little things like that where I'm like, okay, there's probably like the numbers are skewed a little bit to a certain extent with all the people that are dual boxing, tri boxing, or maybe switching between all the characters. And there's some other things that people were doing in the event, which obviously I'm not going to talk about, but that's definitely skewed the numbers as well. But just overall as a whole, the event was good, just concept wise. In actuality, it was kind of annoying. And some people really wish that the cat was here and like the other rewards. And honestly, part of me is kind of glad it wasn't, but at the same time, I really did want the cat. Now, hold your horses before everyone gets mad at me for saying that. If you think about it, you would be kind of forced to do the event if there was the cat and the house. And I know some people might be like, oh, well, just on one character I will deem the cat, one character I will deem the mount, and then one character I will deem the house, etc. How cat and mount on separate characters, which is completely valid. Of course they're like cross tradable and stuff, so that's completely something that we do. But at that point, wouldn't you feel forced to do the event at that point and make sure that you're doing it on even more characters? So like, imagine if I was just a person I only had one character on my account and that's it. Now, if I were to grind the event every day, I wouldn't be able to redeem all three of those items. I assume I wouldn't be, depending on if they were to change the cost of them. I don't think I would be able to actually even redeem the item at all. So kind of glad, but at the same time, I think the featured item for the event should have been the pet, not the mount. I mean, they could have even made the house, but I think a lot of people wanted the pet, and I still stick with that statement. I think the pet should have been the featured to, maybe it might skew the numbers a little bit more because so many people wanted the pet, so more people might do the Fight Fest. And then, next year if it comes around, let's say they had the mount was the featured item, and maybe the house, maybe the numbers might have been even further down. So there's some different things that we can elaborate into and venture into, like we're like, well, could be this could be this, but we wouldn't actually know. It's just theory crafting at that point. But I still wish the pet was here. The pet was really good. I think in test room it gave like a blade storm, a brace. I think it was a brace, could be wrong. So blade storm, brace, and a sharpened blade. That is a really good pet in my opinion, and the pet looked cool. It's a cat. It was literally a cat. I don't know a lot of people like that, so hey. But I'm hoping that they learned from this event and know how to improve it further. Also, this was a good source for points for the Scroll of Fortune. I can't lie on that. This event was a really good source of getting the Scroll of Fortune points, especially since it's like, we're like towards the end of the scroll at this point. Like obviously it's the last day, right? But people were getting more points because since double points are active, you're getting more points to your scroll and you're actually finishing it at a quicker rate. I've seen people like basically nearly finish the Scroll of Fortune just by doing this event by itself. So it is a point hog, which, I mean, hey, that is good for those people that don't want to do like Beast Moon or like other events, and they just enjoy doing this. Very simple. Do 2 team ups a day and then do the one via the kiosk, and there you go. With double points active, you're gonna get a solid amount of points. And part of me is glad that this isn't an event that comes back every month, because the amount of times I would actually have to play Wiz way more than I already do would be kind of depressing. I mean, I already do it enough for content's sake and stuff and prep for videos, but it would add an extra layer of me saying, okay, now I need to also do Fight Fest. And Fight Fest by itself usually takes like an hour to 2 hours, depending on what world it is. But sometimes I just cop out and don't do the event because if it's a certain world I know it's gonna take a while and there's people purposely like ruining team up during that event, then I'm just not gonna do it. Like Exhibit A is literally Azteca and Chrysalis, just because the high HP mobs and the high HP bosses, specifically the bosses, I guess, and people just tend to troll and just not click anything. So there's some things I like, some things I don't like, but that's just the end of it. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of Fight Fest and how would you make improvements to it? Because I know a lot of people have different ideas or different opinions on how they can improve things. I know some people are just gonna be like, oh, we just need improved drops, like, hey, I want better stuff in the shop, for example, etc. But like, what are some actual things you can see them doing changes to? Like maybe you want to have 3 featured worlds instead of one for each arc, or maybe the further arcs eventually, right? Or maybe you want, I don't know, more points from the event to contribute to the scroll, like things like that. Or maybe more coins. Maybe you felt like there was not enough coins from the event. You can make that argument as well. But yeah, put all that stuff in the comments down below. I want to see some discussion around there and see what other people are thinking, because obviously I'm gonna have my own thought process and you guys are gonna have your own thought process on the event as well. But that's the TLDR of my opinion on the event. That's kind of all I can really say, and I'm hoping next year is a better event. Obviously we'll probably not get it till like next year in August, unless they do stuff in test realm. Like whenever we do have test realm in like further, I'm not saying the next test realm, but like in the further test realms, maybe they're gonna add it back just to do some trial testing. Who knows? But we'll just have to wait and see when that happens, and just really hoping that they learn from this and learn from their mistakes and readjust a lot of these numbers. And I know some people are thinking that, hey, KI is definitely skewing the waves. I don't think so, and I don't think they want to ruin the integrity of the event. I know that they said that like on one of the streams. I'm not too sure which dev stream it was, and they're trying not to like, they're not going to purposely skew the numbers. They're not going to auto-complete the wave for us and kind of ruin the integrity of the event. So I think this is just literally them just showing that, hey, like the community can work together and actually finish the event. I know that some devs were actually in the team ups, which is fine. They're not skewing the numbers any sort of way. That's just them trying to help out the community. But they're not like, hey, let me just contribute 50% and just slap that onto the event progress. Like, they're not doing that. Like, they're actually, if they are contributing, they're actually doing the event with players. And I've seen people post screenshots of them with like devs and queue and such, which, I mean, hey, at least they're trying as well to help out with the numbers, which is interesting to see. But that is it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole video of me talking about FightFest. And as you guys can see, I only got like, I didn't even finish the bar because, hey, I didn't do it on certain days because I did not want to do the event that much. I was pushing it out to people and making sure that they did it, but doing it on multiple characters, especially like 10 plus characters, is very, very annoying and it takes a big chunk out of my day. If I was only doing it on one character, this would be piss easy. But the fact is I'm doing it on so many characters, I was just like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm really good. But we do have 8 hours left of the event and 8 hours left of the Scroll of Fortune. So definitely, you know, grind out your points, whether it be for Spiral Showcase, FightFest, or just in general, just trying to do them for, like, you know, the rewards. Of course, you get your gold key for Spiral Showcase. You get your rewards from here to redeem via the Mander. And if you're wondering on what to redeem and stuff like that, there's already a YouTube short. I'm not going to explain too much in this video, and I've already made too many videos on FightFest. And this will be my last FightFest video, unless something drastic happens whenever they revamp it, or maybe they add little things, or maybe we get extra notices. And even if they do, I'd probably just make a YouTube short at that point. But there's that. But that is it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. We're on that grind to 10k subs, as I always mention, and hopefully we can reach it by the end of the year. So I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.